Hello, this is my journal one for Frederick Douglass. Um, Alrighty. Forgive my voice, I am getting over the flu. So, before reading this book, I wasn't aware of the history of Frederick Douglass other than a few basic facts, what I learned in school, and his part in the American Civil War. Notably, I was not prepared at all for the impact the book would have on me. When you said it was a visceral reaction that a lot of people get, I definitely had that. It was completely unprepared, kind of shocked actually at how much emotion I had while I was reading it. Um, yeah, so in my early schooling, we were taught about the horrible atrocities inflicted against the black population in the United States during this time. However, doing deeper research and really reading into the accounts of Frederick Douglass from the book, it was absolutely heartbreaking. Um, I could barely get through the first two chapters. I had to stop at a point just because of the brutality in his account. It was very, very incredibly intense. Um, I actually felt incredible amounts of guilt actually just because I never had this understanding of how um people were treated during this time. I felt really ignorant actually because it's like you you hear about how it was, but through the accounts of Frederick Douglass, it's really intense. It's hard to really stomach it down, to be honest. That's how it used to be. Um Through the book beginning to end, I definitely experienced a lot of emotions, anger, sadness. I felt a lot of hopelessness for Frederick, after he was sent to the Edward Covey home, sent to, work, be a slave for him, just because Frederick had felt so hopeless after, and I really felt that, and I felt just absolutely terrible for him. Um, Although I believe my emotions really peaked every time God was mentioned. I actually was not prepared at all for the amount of, dare I say, like religious undertones or just really anything, just the mentioning of God in his story. Um, I'm not really a religious person, but I have like this like really special intense anger for evil being committed under the name of any god or religion just because it destroys the beauty of religion. And it's just religion can be a beautiful thing, but it can also be a very evil thing. And it just really got to me when I was doing the reading. um Especially when I was reading chapter 9. um Frederick had mentioned how Thomas Old uh used a Bible verse as his justification for his barbaric acts, basically. He that knoweth my master's will and doeth not shall be beaten with many stripes. I'm not really too familiar with the Bible. Um but because this is something that came from the Bible, it just got me really incredibly mad and angry for Frederick and people of that time period. Um, the first positive emotion I really felt when doing the reading was when Frederick escaped to New York and eventually New Bedford. Um, I felt happy for him, but it was also very melancholy just because there were so many people that weren't able to escape and had to endure so much. And that was another quick thing I wanted to mention was I felt almost uncomfortable with the knowledge that w- that according to the preface in his accounts, that he didn't go through as much compared to other people in the South, how he had it easier just because he was in Maryland. Um, just that knowledge alone, and then the fact that he also went on to escape, I just felt incredibly, like, uncomfortable just because, just because there was so much worse than what I read, and I had these reactions to the current reading, and there's more to do. There was more suffering, and there was more really to read into, and more that I was ignorant of, really. Um, I've never felt like a non-person. I may have at times not fitted in, or like maybe I didn't relate, but I wouldn't say I ever felt like a non-person. Um, in Frederick's situation, I don't know what I would have done. Especially with the hopelessness factor into it. I I would hope I was as strong as Frederick just to even escape, let alone um contribute to history after experiencing what he experienced. That alone is just incredibly tough. I will say if it was me, I would do whatever it takes to either, change society or live in a world on my own where it's like I create my own society, even if that's at the risk of my death. That would probably be the best situation I would like to think of. Um, but yes, very, very impactful reading. Thank you.